Well, the time is just gone 14 minutes past 9 as we continue with the broadcast, the second half of the show, News and Views. It is, if you have just tuned in, I am Inayat Wadi. We'll be together until 10 a.m. and we stay in the company of our Salam Media listeners, our viewers, and also One Nation 88.9 FM. We welcome you to the show. Looking ahead at the show shortly, we will be speaking with the spokesperson for the National Police Commissioner ahead of the National Shutdown, looking at the South African Police Services, looking at their plan of action, and also taking a look at Malawi, getting a live update out of Malawi as a result of the cyclone. And towards the end of the show, quite an interesting analysis and a discussion on the connection between the three harams of Makkah, Medina, and Al Aqsa. But right now, we're going across to be joined by the spokesperson for the National Police Commissioner, Athlenda Mathe. Athlenda, good morning to you and welcome to the show.
A very good morning to you and to the listeners.
Yes, looking ahead at the national shutdown, and we've seen the Net Joints Committee meeting and calling on all people in South Africa to work together with law enforcement to uphold and to enforce the law. And just looking at this planned protest, looking at it from a SAPS perspective, what is SAPS planning?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for this opportunity. As the SAPS, through the National Joint Operational and Intelligence Structure, we'd like to assure the nation that there is no shutdown. There is no such a thing called the shutdown. There is a planned protest, and that is what we are planning for as members of the South African Police Service and all other law enforcement agencies. As we speak, the Minister of Police is addressing a multidisciplinary and integrated parade in Mayfair. These are members that will be deployed in Gauteng ahead of this planned protest to ensure stability in the country, but most importantly, to ensure the safety and security of everyone in this beautiful country. So we are having similar operations as well in other provinces where we are hosting the parades, we are deploying accordingly, just to ensure that there is no lawlessness that takes place, to ensure that there is no act of criminality that takes place. I think it's also important to state that as the SAPS, we do not have a problem with people protesting. It's within their constitutional rights. But people must also recall that rights come with responsibility. And those responsibilities includes that you need to protest in an orderly, in a responsible, in an accountable manner. What we won't allow is people contravening the law.
Yes, and also, looking at South Africa and looking at the nature of protests in recent times, they tend to become unruly. They tend to become violent as well. And we've seen with the July 21 unrest. Now, I know we can't compare the two, but just in terms of intelligence and the lack of intelligence that was prevalent in July 2021, have you got a lot more information this time around as SAPS to make sure that the situation is orderly and it's under control?
So absolutely. The July 2021 recommendations are being implemented continuously. So this time around, we are better coordinated. We are working closely with the intelligence community, which is on the ground in monitoring the situation. We are better coordinated with the private security that is acting as our force multiplier. We are better coordinating in a sense that they are our eyes and ears, looking at the geographical footprint. There's better communication on our side. But most importantly, we are urging the communities to work together with the members of the South African Police Service and all law enforcement agencies to ensure that we jointly uphold and enforce the law. So it's quite important that communities report any wrongdoing, communities report any suspicious acts of activities timely to the nearest police station, or they can call the Crime Stop number on 0600 10 111. Collectively, we all have a role to play.
Athlenda, when protest action takes place, and the norm in the case of protest action or a march is SAPS is given prior notification as to where this march is going to take place or where the protest action is going to take place, the routes that are going to take place, where the memorandum is going to be handed. So you can plan accordingly and you can respond accordingly as well. This time around, we know that this is now a call for a national shutdown. Just how much information do we have, and particularly looking at hotspots, because like July 21, we've seen major highways, we've seen major roads. We know what has happened in Moy River as well, and all of this in terms of barricading of roads, obstructing of roads, all of that are sufficient measures in place to make ensure that some of these areas may be unknown, but are there any plans in place to make sure that this doesn't happen?
Okay, so absolutely. There is a court order. Communities do not have to apply to protest, but we do encourage as a South African Police Service that they notify us. Because firstly, we have a duty and responsibility to protect everyone, even protesters, people that are marching orderly and peacefully, so that there's better coordination, especially in terms of ensuring the safety and security of everyone, in terms of controlling the traffic. So that should be quite clear that people don't have to apply, but we do encourage them to do so for better coordination and so on. But like I indicated earlier on, we are not going to allow any lawlessness, any burning of tires. We are not going to allow any looting happening. We're not going to allow any destruction of private and public property. We're not going to allow people's businesses to be forcefully shut down. If you know of such activities taking place, immediately bring it to the attention of the SAPS. But most importantly, we will be on the ground to ensure that everyone who is found to be contravening the law, they will be arrested. And that we are not mincing our words. We will take a tough action, because prohibiting people's freedom of movement is a criminal offense. Intimidating people, threatening people, public violence is a criminal offense. And we are not going to hesitate to move in and ensure that we protect everyone in this country. And we also have a duty to protect those who will not be partaking in protests.
Yes. Now, also, last night I had the opportunity of talking to a few CPF members, and what they mentioned to me is they are going to be on high alert. And I'm sure to a large extent, looking at this partnership that has developed between SAPS and community initiatives like CPFs will come into play, being your eyes and your ears on the ground.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
I said I had the opportunity of talking to a few CPF members last night who mentioned that they are going to be on high alert, and this relationship or
Absolutely.
this partnership between the
The
CPF and
CPF
SEP.
is an important the CPF is an important stakeholder. Like I indicated, communities play a critical role in being our eyes and ears and ensuring that collectively we prevent and combat all forms of criminality. So it's quite important that we work jointly with the CPFs across the country. They are part of our planning at the local level. So we are joining hands collectively to ensure that we prevent and combat any forms of criminality.
Yes, and finally, Athlenda, we just pray that sanity prevails, and we don't want to see another situation where, we see another Marikana, for instance, because we know that, these protests have got the potential to become explosive. You have some loose cannons that could possibly even provoke police, and just looking at it from the police services as well, in terms of showing restraint, because the situation may get volatile.
That the National has measures in place. We are moving into operations now. I will have to leave it as is, but just to assure the nation that as the National, we have measures in place to ensure the safety and security of everyone. We are busy with operations. We have deployed, so the South Africans can rest assured that we have the situation under control. But most importantly, so communities need to play their active role and report any forms of criminality. I will leave it there.
Well,
Because we are going into operations.
perfect. Thank you very much for that and for taking time out for talking with us this morning. We wish you all the best, Athlenda, and please take care.
Okay, thank
Athlenda Mathe is the spokesperson for the National Police Commissioner with us this morning, just looking at the police and once again assuring the public that law enforcement agencies will not allow protesters to barricade or obstruct roads and say and also other areas as well. And what Athlenda is also saying, that measures are in place by law enforcement to ensure that things run smoothly. And for those who want to get to work, the flowing of traffic on national roads, all of these things have been taken care of. And this is the plan of action, and going into the whole net joints exercise at this point in time to prepare the police services for what is to take place on Monday. The time is just gone 9:25. We're going to go for a break. We come back and we're going to have a live update out of Malawi, the cyclone that has hit Malawi and has caused a lot of devastation